Oh, Jings. It's bubble time already. Hello there, how you doing? Sacinda, that was yourself, and I think your profile picture should show Sacinda. How you doing? Thank you very much for your Prime sub. Welcome in, everybody. Long time no stream. I hope yous are all doing good. I feel rough, everybody. I still feel really rough. But hey, guess what? I've got a cup of coffee here, and it's a big cup of coffee. Tell you what, I've been watching a power of X-Files this weather. I've set up a Jellyfin server and put wonderful rips of the X-Files on it. I've been watching a power of X-Files with Rachel. MIG Williams, thank you very much for the bubbles. I love the bubbles. I love bubbles. They're currently getting all over my stuff over there. Going to maybe have to protect some of that with a sheet of paper. That'll do it. And Espadrille, how you doing? Thank you very much for the tier 1. Welcome in, Espadrille. Thank you very much for subbing. They look cool, wee guys. What's that from? Espadrille, welcome in. How's it going? And Friendly Advice. Hello, Friendly Advice. We're just coming up in just a wee second. There we go. But I think basically what the deal is, everybody, is it must be like vitamin D or something like that. I'm just wrecked all the time. But I've got some wonderful things that we can talk about today. Friendly Advice, thank you very much for the 31-month Prime sub. I love Prime subs, Friendly Advice, so thank you very much for that. Welcome in, how's it going? Listen, at the start of the stream, what we like to do is share good news. Do you have any good news? I would like to know what your good news is. Stick it in chat. My good news is that even though I haven't been streaming for a wee while, some wonderful people like Devon Inc. here are still showing up and still watching my stream. How class is that, man? How great is that? Devon Inc., thank you very, very much. Hello, Sausage, welcome in. How you doing? Thanks very much for all these subs, everybody, and thanks for coming and watching me here today. Guitar God by name of Bob says, been a while since I've been managed to catch a stream, new job each time. It's been a while since I've been able to stream. Honestly, man, I've been sleeping for maybe 12 hours a day for the past week or something. Think that I'll be able to get back on top of stuff. And I'm just shattered, man. I don't know what's up with me. So I think it might be like iron or vitamin D or something. But I'm feeling heavy sleepy. I've stopped smoking the vape as well, thinking that might be part of it. So I haven't been on the vape for about 2 days. So life's shite, man. Shaggis, how you doing? Shaggis, welcome in. Thank you very much for subbing. Look at you there, that's brilliant. Thank you very much for doing that. And We Shed coming up in a second. We Shed, thank you very much for subscribing. I hope you're doing alright. Welcome in, how's it going? I'm not soggy. It's been a wee while since we've had this many, this much Bubble Blast. Oh, here, that reminds me. Twitch sent me a thing where I can enable a discount for multiple gift subs or something like that. So I might as well enable that just now for anybody, if anybody's interested in doing that. How is it that I even do that again? It's in my notifications. Maybe. Click on that. And then... there we go. For the next 2 hours, if anybody wants to, and I don't think he's will, but if anybody wants to gift 5 or more subs, how much money's that? That's like 50 quid or something. Then you get 35% off. But hey, listen, the saving goes on to me, so I make 35% less. So I don't even know if it's worth doing. But Twitch has given me the ability to give you the ability to get 35% off 5 subs. I don't know who wants to do that, or even if it's necessarily a good idea. But if you want to do that, I think the option is now there. We Shed, Shaggis, Guitar God by Name of Bob, Devon Inc., Friendly Advice, Espadrille, MIG Williams, and Sacinda. Welcome in. Thank you very much sincerely for subbing. Welcome in everybody else. I've got a platter of tabs of things that I've liked and looked at on the internet over the past couple of weeks, and we're going to go through them and we're going to have a wee look at all of that sort of stuff. I'm going to tell you about some cool stuff that I've been up to. Let's see if I can figure out a way of doing this and showing you some photos. Remember, we had a blue tit that kept coming into the loft. He came back an additional twice. So that's 3 times he's found himself into the loft, right? And he's cool, man. I wish he could stay about in the loft, but he's not allowed. Do you know what I mean? A loft isn't a good place for a wee birdie. So what I did was check this out. Boom shakalaka. Made him a wee birdhouse. Well, I bought him a birdhouse. It's got a webcam in it and everything, right? And because he's a blue tit, he needs a special aperture that I made out of a bit of wood. Look at that. Pencil. So I painted that stuff. And I've created this here. Stuck it up. And it's got a webcam in it, so you can see a live feed. Which isn't easy to do, by the way. I was thinking I could just hook it into OBS. No, pain in the arse to do. I know that face. Jeez, oh. Cater Cakes, how you doing? I hope you took advantage of that discount. But thank you very much for doing that. What a lovely person. Way to go, Kate, 100%. Kate, thank you very much for gifting a sub to Threep Knight, Morgie, Raptor, Chris, Mary, Starfly, and B. Stavy. Thank you very, very much for doing that. Cater Cakes, everybody. Cater Cakes. Legend. Thank you very much, Kate. Bowdy says, live streaming bird stuff, hardest work on Twitch. Hello, Bowdy, welcome in, how you doing? Bowdy does live streaming of bird stuff. It has done for a long time, various different types of stages of bird stuff. Cater Cakes, thank you very, very much. If you're just in, everybody, I'm updating people on what I've been up to. So I don't know what the deal is, but every day for maybe the past 2-3 weeks, I've just been sleepy. Just like sleepy. Burniston Butcher, how you doing? Welcome in. Thank you very much for subbing, Burniston Butcher. I haven't smoked weed in a good number of months, right? And previously I would go through spells of feeling like this, but I would be smoking weed at the time. And so I just thought that, well, you're smoking a lot of weed, that's why you feel like shit. But I feel exactly the same just now. And I haven't smoked weed since, about 3 months before Fred died. So how long's that been? A wee bit. But I feel like I am, you know what I mean? I'm waking up, I'm just like, oh, my brain's all slow. Last thing I want to do is sit in front of some people that are expecting good patter and try and come out with good patter. But I suppose if I put myself in this position and I get into the flow of it all, it'll be good. You know what I mean? I'll do a good job. I'll have a good time. You might have a good time. We'll speak about some bird boxes and various other things. I've got cool stuff that I want to speak to you about. But I don't know what's up with me. So I'm thinking it's something to do with just minerals, vitamins, all of that. I used to wake up in the morning and get like an electrolyte drink just for body salts or whatever. Found this cheap electrolyte salt mix thing. But there is illnesses going around in my work. They've all got wains, and as we know, wains are filthy wee stinking creatures, right? All of them. So when wains go to school, they get colds and flus and viruses and stuff, and then they all just propagate it. So everybody's ill all over the place. But whatever I've got is it's not manifesting in a headache or a sore throat or anything like that. I just feel fucked. So that's me. That's what I'm up to. So I'm sort of pushing against that. But it's been now for about a fortnight. So I've not really been on stream. I've been working away in various projects behind the stream, which is kind of cool, and I'll show you all about them. This project here, remember this one where I can zoom in and stuff like that? That has taken leaps and bounds. So the current bit of that project is that I need to replace the way in which the USB cameras are being read, right? Because it's not reliable. Eventually with that project, what I want to do is distribute it so that people can download it and use it for themselves. And so I need to make the USB cameras robust. But essentially it's a project where I've got these tracking markers, and this camera, imagine it's a top-down camera looking at my desk, and the project is that I can zoom into various regions of my desk only by physically moving the tracking markers on my desk. And it means that I can show you projects zoomed in, all brilliant, without me having to go into OBS and like click and drag and zoom and stuff. The previous iteration of this project that I showed you had the video feed sort of getting piped into OBS, and it meant that the camera wasn't running at 60 frames per second. It meant it was running at like maybe 50 frames a second. I've completely eliminated that, right? So now what's happening is there is a helper application that's physically moving a source within OBS. So a lot of it's now happening on the graphics card rather than the CPU. And because it's moving a frame that is inside OBS, the camera is full raw native FPS, which is great. And as well, I've added easing, like an exponential move on the camera position, so that it all looks good. And I've been able to reduce the detection rate down to like maybe 5 frames a second or something like that, so it doesn't use up a lot of processor speed. So all I need to do is replace the methods in which the program is accessing the cameras, because I'm currently using OpenCV to do that, and I can get it working on my own computer, but it's crashy, it's a bit hacky. Getting a list of available cameras and switching between them can just make the full thing freeze. So I'm moving to a technology called some like Win dash video capture or something like that, which is apparently a more mature way of accessing cameras in your applications. I'm learning all about this as I'm doing it. So maybe some point next week, the application will be ready to be distributed to people. I might even put it for sale. Might even be on my shop. You can buy Desk Zoomer Inner. I was thinking about calling it Pure Zoomer. Might be good. Don't know. Need to come up with a name and some branding for it. How you doing, folks? Got some interesting stuff to talk about today, but before I do that, I would like to talk to you about good news. Do you have any good news? I want to know what your good news is. Funky Man 316, Ride Tier, Big Scary Deer, K Torrential, John the Human, welcome in. Big Scary Deer says, nae pre-stream music today. Everything's all up in the air. I'm going to be honest with you, Big Scary Deer. Everything's all up in the air. Electric Will, how are you doing, Electric Will? Welcome in. Thank you very much for subbing. I hope everything's good wherever you are, whatever you're up to. Are we all doing good? Has anybody got any good news? Hello, Travelling Hedgehog. Hello, Cheese Hobbit. Hello, Bowdy, Shaggus, Chameleon, welcome in. Chameleon says, good news, 2 weeks. Rye3D, welcome in. Rye3D says, I'm alright, but the main question is, are you alright? Hello, Rye3D. I've been saying that quite a bit to Rachel over the past 2 days. I think that's maybe one of my most famous Scottish memes. I would put it on the stream a lot more often if the guy's face wasn't absolutely stinking to look at, man. The guy needs to wash his face. Rye3D, welcome in. How's it going? Thank you very much for subbing. I'm alright, I think. Chameleon is in with a wee bit of good news, everybody, and listen, everybody, stick in your good news. Chameleon says, good news, 2 weeks of the working year left. Feels pretty well prepared for the driving test, and today my instructor reckons that unless something drastic happens, I should pass first time. You got this, Chameleon. That is wonderful. I would like to do my driving test. I keep saying it every year. New Year resolution is to get my driving test done. Have I made any motion to start beginning to do it yet? No, I haven't. But I think it would thoroughly enrich and embolden my life. Chameleon, good luck. All the very best. Cheese Hobbit says, OMG, you quit smoking. That's amazing. You have a lot of willpower. That shit is hard to kick. Well, I haven't really. I've been smoking this vape since Fred died because I was very keen to start smoking cannabis again when my dog died. The compulsion was really there to just buy an ounce and disappear for a couple of months. And anytime I do that, it doesn't work out for me very well. So instead of doing that, I went to my local petrol station, bought a vape. And it's quite a good fidget toy. I like it as a fidget toy, but it's probably been engineered to be a fidget toy in order to keep me bloody hooked on it, because the companies that make these things are nasty. Mr. K Watkins, welcome in. How's it going? Mr. K Watkins, thank you very, very much for subbing. Welcome in. And Zomb8, how you doing, Zomb8? Thanks very much for subbing as well. Look at that. That's how I feel, by the way. That's how I feel. We've got some wonderful stuff to show you. So basically, here is a webcam feed of a wee bird box. So I kept getting blue tits into my house, into my loft. And we can't have wee blue tits in the loft, right? We can't have it because loft isn't a good spot. Gary Black, how you doing? Jizo, 39 months, how's that even possible? Gary Black, thank you very much. It's mad. I've not been doing anything consistently for 39 months, and here we are. Gary Black, thank you very much. Zombie, Mr. K Watkins, Rye3D, and Electric Well, thank you very, very much. I'm cheersing my coffee to you. If you're just in, got a couple of things to talk about today. I've actually I've created tabs. We're going to have a tab-based stream. Going to talk about different stuff that's maybe been in the news, stuff that I've spotted on the internet, wee bits of things that I've maybe been working on in the background. So I created this. So basically, we had a blue tit come into the loft repeatedly. Can I show you him actually? No. Flower Buffet, how do you do, Flower Buffet? Thank you very much for subbing. Welcome in. How's it going? Thanks very much, Flower Buffet. I hope you're doing good. I thought this might be him, but this isn't him. This is photos that I've taken of... This is my landlord's solution for keeping a broken window closed. It's called the scissor method. It's just held shut by scissors. So... Two Crooked Fingers, how you doing? Cheers for being on in that. Hey, no bother. Sorry I've not been on for a wee bit. I won't go back into it, but I've been feeling shattered for the past wee bit, so I think there might be like a vitamin deficiency or something like that. But that's why I've not been on. Just been absolutely knackered, man. But thank you very much, everybody, for coming in and for being cool and stuff. I'm trying to find... Because the wee birdie came back... I just want to show you him, but I'm going through my personal phone messages, and that's always dangerous, isn't it? That is always dangerous. Found this image. That's funny, isn't it? JRPG. That's funny, isn't it? Somebody needs to make a game where you collect the plectrums. And then if you collect enough plectrums, you can buy Paul McCartney like a golden plectrum. And then if you have 5 gold you know what I mean? A JRPG. Two Crooked Fingers, Flower Buffet, Gary Black, Zombie, all of that. Welcome in, everybody. Sorry, my heart's not in it, folks. My heart's not in it. Hello, Kate Cakes. Once again, Kate, thanks very much. Wellesley Wells, welcome in. Guitar God by name of Bob says, I've just had an electrolytes drink and popped all the vitamins pills just to exist. Getting old sucks. I feel like I need to get back into that. For a wee while, I would drink something in the morning that I dubbed Jimbo Juice. And so it's an electrolyte drink and just some vitamins. And I forget what it was, but it get rid of this feeling that keeps coming back. I've not been doing exercise or anything like that, but I've been sleeping a lot. And I don't think that's the solution because I'm not getting better. Shaggy says, I've also been sleeping for 12 hours and feeling shite. I think it might be the lack of vitamin D for me. Because I'm all happy when the sun's out. I think it might be a vitamin D for thing as well. Jebaru says, I like your glasses, t-shirt, and your hair looks magnificent. Jeb, thank you very much. Went for a wee shower before I started the stream. T-shirts are good. Glasses, pretty good. Here, it's all kicking off for B. Dolan, by the way. This is a B. Dolan t-shirt. It's all kicking off for B. Dolan. He's making music videos with marching bands. He's doing mad other stuff. Well, cool set of stuff. Husey, how do you do? Husey says, 27 months. Love you, big man, but not in a weird way. I appreciate that you specified that, Husey. Thank you very, very much. Jeb and Husey, how you doing? Welcome in. I hope yous are all doing fantastic. We've got a classic stream ahead of us, folks. Plan some tabs out. We're going to go through some tabs. I'm going to just update you with various things. But is anybody else just shattered this weather? I think it's a change in the weather. You know, we're coming in for winter. Probably in our natural habitat before capitalism. This would just be when people would be sleeping all the time, probably. I don't know. What else have I been up to? You know the Gibbs computers, the computers that Gibbs stole me. Turns out I've got 4 of them. I thought I'd only 3. Then I found another one, and it confused me because I was like, what? So I've got one working really good, because remember the microphone didn't work and the software for the microphone wouldn't install, and I think it was a driver issue, but I was trying to install different drivers on the different ones, but it's something to do with the installation. Anyway, I get one good working one, and then using software called Macarium Reflect, I was able to put that on a USB drive and back up the one good working one to my local network attached storage, and then I could use that image to then make the ones that weren't working work again. So I've learned how to do all of that. That was exhilarating. That was brilliant. So I've got all that working. That's kind of cool. Travelling Hedgehog says, I've got a blue and yellow bird that comes in and taps on my window each morning for the last 4 years. I assume it's a different bird in the same family though, as sadly they don't last that long. That's cool though that you are like a generational habit among a bird species. You are culture to them. That's pretty cool. I haven't been able to get up there this year, so I'll owed you a wee meal anyway. Cater Cakes, your class, thank you very, very much. Aye, we need to hang out. It's been too long. Do you know what I really liked? Playing Project Winter with everybody. I really enjoyed that. We need to do more of that sort of stuff. I'm bad at scheduling and organising and all of that, but we need more big streams, I think. Or, well, streams of just playing games with pals again. That gave me a lot of energy, because it's been a while since I've done that. John the Human says, I've been feeling rotten and tired for a couple of weeks too. No reason for it, nasty bugs going about. Aye, well that's what I was saying earlier. I'm not, I don't have a headache, don't have a sore throat or anything like that. I'm just shattered, man. Are you moving and exercising? Do you know, Bistro, I am not moving and exercising. But I should be. You should definitely go see your dog and get some bloods done, mate. Aye, maybe. I mean, you're right, I should. I have folic acid supplements now because a blood test said I was deficient. Interesting. That's what got me out of this cycle of waking up tired and not being able to really do much. Aye. I think I should do that before I stream every day. I used to do that when I started streaming, is go a walk for an hour before every stream. And it sort of offset the downsides of just sitting in the one place for a long time, but it meant that I started the stream with a bit of energy. Like, how long ago was this image? I went into work, so this is the 5th of November. So that's, what, 15 days ago-ish? 14 days ago? 2 weeks ago. I went into work and sat down, and I just felt shite. I felt like I was dreaming or something like that. So I took a selfie. Right, do you want to see the selfie that I took? Look at that, man. I look like Graham Linehan. What is going on there? And I wasn't trying to put a face on or anything like that. I was just trying to, like, assess. How am I doing? I'll take a picture of myself to assess how I'm doing. Look at that. Jesus Christ. That's not a good look. My God. I look like I've got theories about men's rights or something. So that's around about when it first started. So that's been about 2 weeks, I think. But anyway, I've seen your video in Threads about the tracking project. Are you going to keep the markers out of frame of the viewer? Yes, Shaggus, 100%. But inside the frame of the camera, yes. So I've already added padding, Shaggus. I would show you it just now, but I'm in the middle of reworking some stuff. But that tracker project is going good. It's going really, really good. So I've created various tracking objects. So I created these wee cubes. Turns out I need bigger cubes than that, so I bought bigger cubes and I've now made bigger cubes. And I created wee pucks as well. But in the previous iteration of the tracker project, you can see the square contains the tracker objects inside the crop, and what I've done is now it calculates the crop from the closest corner of the square and then adds padding. It'll add like a customizable amount of pixels padding to it so that you don't see the tracker markers in the crop, and that's really cool. It's getting quite mature and robust that piece of software. So here it was running at 16 frames per second. I've now got the video going at... So now the video moves around inside OBS rather than getting piped in for a different application. So now the video goes at the native frame rate of the webcam that's coming in. So that's really exciting. And I think... Here's Pippa and Rachel. Look at Pippa, man. She's a wee... Oh, speaking of Pippa. Oh my God, everybody. Oh my God, do you remember what we need to do at 2 o'clock? And listen, it's already 2:15. It's lunchtime for Pippa, everybody. I'm surprised she wasn't in here moaning about it. One of you lucky people, via a Channel Point redemption, get to feed Pippa the dog. The Channel Point's live just now, and it was Rye3D. Rye3D is on it. Rye3D, thank you very much for feeding my wheat. There, she's there. She's like, yes, man, eating up the biscuits. Eating the biscuits. She was in her stupid wee house. The camera's a bit close, isn't it? I wonder if I should move... Well, I can't move the bowl further away, because then I suppose the biscuits won't land in the bowl. Maybe I could figure something out, just so that you can see a slightly wider shot, because you're seeing a lot of your hair, and that could be anything. This isn't necessarily visually interesting. Good girl, Pippa, that's brilliant, isn't it? Your wee dinner. And everybody, look at her belly. See, since we moved to this automated feeder, she's lost a lot of weight, and that's good because she needed to. She wasn't very healthy. And turns out wee dogs need to be fed a lot fewer biscuits than what you would think. And now she's doing brilliant. Hey, look at us watching her. She's no idea that we're all watching her. But she's not used to this little amount of food. And so she is getting a wee bit annoying. See, every time we're eating or whatever, she's right up at us like that. Give me a bit of your cheese. Or whatever we're eating. Right now she's licking the bowl. So that's Pippa. Rye3D, thank you very much. Blaketown has just redeemed a hydrate. And because I take care of my health and stuff, I need to start drinking water again. I think that's... See, because I'm approaching 40, I think I now need to start behaving like an adult. So wrapping this, so I've not smoked a vape for about 2 days, so I think I'm done with that. Next thing, I need to move on to water rather than Coca-Cola. Also, fuck Coca-Cola because of various bad political stuff just now. Anyway. Oh, here, I've still got a bit of coffee. Thank you very much for the hype train, folks. So, the tracking project, what do you think it should be called? OK Zoomer? Could be called that. Could be called Pure Zoomer. It's kind of Scottish. Big Scary Deer says, good news, after 27 years of failure, Scotland have finally qualified for the World Cup. That's interesting, isn't it? I was too scared to watch that. I don't typically watch football, and last night I said to Rachel, here, there's a big Scotland game on the night. Do you want to watch it? Mon, it'll just be a laugh. Mon will try and join in, and we eventually we didn't watch it. We just went to bed early because she's shattered as well. And we should have, because I saw the highlights. My God. It was like watching somebody play a football game. See that mad scissor kick for like a mile up? And then the goal for like the halfway mark. I know football terms. It was like watching a computer game. It was incredible. So congratulations, Scotland team. That was good gear. But I wish I'd watched it live. All the very best. Good news, the Offspring were class last night. Did you go and see the Offspring? At the Hydro? Atmosphere was great when Scotland qualified. If anybody was in. Anybody else was away to see the Offspring last night? Bowdy says, my goodness me. Anonymous Skefter, thank you very much for giving us a sub to Steezy Mac. That there was a bubble blast for you, Anonymous, and it was a bubble blast for Steezy Mac. I don't know what that third bubble blast was for, that shouldn't have happened. Don't know what that one was for. Couldn't tell you. There is sometimes a bug with gift subs. Oh no, it was Orson Felt. Goodness me. It just came through. That was yet a different bubble blast. Are we now going to get 5 bubble blasts for that? I don't think we are. Orson Felt, what a wonderful and generous thing you've just done. You've gifted us up to Icy April Dawn, Aim for Space, The Green Gobshite, Watchful Protector, and DC. If you happen to have had your name just said there, sorry, Rifted. And if you happen to be in chat, please feel free to say thanks to Orson Felt. What a wonderful thing. Thank you very, very much. What a legend. An Anonymous and Orson Felt, yous are dead cool. Thank you very much. And Mike Three Legs, welcome in. That's a cool profile picture. I like that. It's interesting. It's not pure representative of some fascistic ideology or anything, is it? Because quite often they've got powerful logos. I don't think it is though. I think you're cool. Welcome in. How you doing? Ry3D says, when I see it, always think of you now. When you see what? Always be thinking me anyway. Bowdy says, I just made the fatal mistake of looking behind my desktop PC and it's dust bunnies and cat hair. But Bowdy, now you know that it's there, and so you can give it a wee hoover and then your PC might be running better. Kate says, good news, I have auditioned for another play and got the part. So maybe going to be in a short film. And I've been invited to do ads and radio spots at a local radio station. It's all kicking off. Fucking yes. Here, by the way, ad money. Oof. See if you can do some adverts. Oof. Get tore into that. That is kicking off, Kate. Hello, Pursue. How you doing? Congratulations. Kate, can I just say as well, it's wonderful to see you back in the streaming seat. And what I'm going to do is not raid, but Cater Cakes is one of my bestest pals, and what you should all be doing if you're not already is follow Cater Cakes. It's rare that I do a shout out. I need to tab over, right? I don't tab over for anybody, right? But I'm tabbing over for Kate, giving Cater Cakes an actual shout out just now that you should be able to see. And you should be able to follow Kate if you're not already following, because Kate is streaming again. Cheese Hobbits followed, there we go. Thank you very much. Hello, 87 Roll Duke, 30 months. Roll Duke, thank you very much for 30 months. What a legend. Legends. A lot of yous are all legends. Thank you very much. So was anybody in the Offspring with Guitar God by name of Bob last night? Hello Hammy, how you doing, man? Ry3D says, buy an ounce and come on stream instead. Kid on, fair play for not giving it. Nah, Ry3D, if I bought an ounce and started streaming, I would just be... The fear would seep into my face. I would be able to feel fear behind the skin on my face. And I'd just be sitting here like that. Nobody would have a good time. Cheese Hobbit says, vaping. I think it was harder to quit smoking cigs. I started vaping to quit smoking cigs, and man, that was a bad idea. Well, I didn't get right into vaping. I've only been doing it for about 2 months or something, because I think it was the lesser of two evils, because I didn't want to get back into daily smoking weed again, because that, for me, that isn't very good. I was doing alright for a while, because most of my life I've been daily smoking weed. I hit a point and I realised that it's no longer good for me, and so I had to not doing that. But I could feel myself getting back into it a few months ago, and so I decided to sort of sidestep it and get a vape again, and just 2 days ago I've quit the vape because I think that was contributing to me feeling rubbish. So we'll see how it's all going. Steph Make Stuff, how you doing? Did you figure out how the blue tip was getting in? Not properly, no. There is a hole that was pre-drilled to allow power into the loft. Sorry, into the garage. I've just realised I'm in the wrong category. There we go. That should fix it. And so I assume he's getting in there because that's a tiny wee hole. So before I blocked it off, I wanted to give him an alternative. So I cut... Blue tits need 25mm holes apparently, according to the internet. So I cut this and I installed it into this. And the problem is though, blue tits don't nest until like February, March time. So I've got a live feed of an empty box. But it might come in here, I've been told, to roost and to just have a wee look about. And I hope he does that, because if he comes in to have a wee look about, then that means it will be more likely that in February, March time, he will choose this as a nesting spot. So that's kind of cool. But I don't know. But it would be cool if we had a live blue tit stream. I'd be quite into that. We'll see how it goes. But I didn't want to block off the loft and not give him an alternative, because I would feel a bit bad. So it turns out he was probably just coming into the loft to have a sleep, because it's a lot warmer in the loft and it's getting cold outside. But the loft isn't a good place for him because he kept getting trapped in it. I wouldn't mind if he knew how to get in and back out, and I could just be like Snow White and I could have wee bird pals. That would be cool. I would even put food out for him and stuff like that. But I don't think he knows how to get back out once he's in. So he's not allowed in the loft. I'm putting my foot down, and so I've given him this as a sort of... Because I'm not a mean guy, you know what I mean? I've given him this. But does he know this is there? No. Will he know how to use it? No. Is he even interested in it at all? Probably not. So now I'm in this position. Daydream Nation, thank you very much for subbing. 87 Royal Duke, thank you very much for subbing. And Orson Felt. Daydream Nation, also wonderful profile picture. Welcome in, how's it going? All the iCloud photos are stressing me out. Aye, they're stressing me out as well. One wrong click, man. Started a project where... So, right, I've been talking to Funkle Albert. Funkle Albert's DM'd me. And you know how sometimes... Basically, what I'm trying to do is sort the loft out so that I can stream good from the loft. I've done this tracking marker thing. That'll improve the loft stream. Funkle Albert sent me an audio track, because when I'm moving from this studio into the loft, it reminds me of when Richard O'Brien in the Crystal Maze moved between Aztec Zone and like Future Zone or whatever it was called. Because there would often be a wee montage of him going through obstacles or crawling up things or through doors or whatever. And it was always accompanied by the Crystal Maze, not the main theme tune, but a separate theme tune that was only used for these wee montage sequences. And so whenever I'm moving from the garage zone to the loft zone to the studio zone or whatever, I will usually hum "Going up the loft, we're going up the loft, it's time to go up the loft, da 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 da, going up a loft, we're going up a loft, then now," or something similar. So Funkle Albert has faithfully recreated the Crystal Maze. Would you call that an interstitial? I don't think you would. So, because Funkle Albert has done that, I was thinking, wouldn't it be good to have a piece of video that played? So when I'm sitting here, I can press play on a bit of video that shows Crystal Maze sort of visuals, and then when that finishes, I will be up the loft, right? So I was thinking, well, we've already got the audio of Funkle Albert that Funkle Albert's made, so the audio sounds kind of faithful to the original. And I wonder if what we could do is somehow, using my motion graphics skills, right, generate a piece of video where it's me inside the crystal maze going between zones. That would be cool. So I needed to get reference material. And so I downloaded the first 4 seasons of the Crystal Maze. And I don't think I'll be able to show you these good. I will. So I went into all the episodes. There's about 13 episodes per season times 4. And I clipped out every instance. Some of the files are kind of poorly done. I clipped out every instance of Richard O'Brien travelling between zones. So if we watch this back, he's just running about, man. So that's him arriving in that zone. And then that's him leaving that zone. So I think what I want to do is try out some different emerging tools, right? So there's his POV. That would be good because you don't see him in that. And I want to try and replace his body with my body, so that every time I go from the studio up into the loft, like this shot won't be good because you can see all of these guys. I was thinking all of these guys might be able to visually represent you lot, you know what I mean, as if I'm going up the loft and I'm bringing you all with me, but I think that's kind of confusing. So what I've been doing is trying to find clips where it's only him in it, and I've ended up with just under an hour of the transitional sequences of the Crystal Maze roughly clipped together. Like that shot there, I suppose I could mask them out just as you see him running from right to left, but I would rather, because the camera's stationary, that would be fairly trivial to do, but I'd rather not. I'd rather just not put any more work into it, because so that's him in the futuristic zone running about. So I mean, I suppose we could watch, is it tilde on this keyboard? I don't know on this keyboard how to do it. I suppose we could just watch Richard O'Brien running about in the Crystal Maze for the rest of the stream and try and pull out good clips. But what we also need is the graphic sequence shows a map at the end with all the zones on it, and the camera sort of goes down. So I'll need to recreate that and put loft zone and stuff into it. But I've been looking at a AI tool called Higgsfield, and again on this channel, I like to look at emerging tools that are coming out that look quite scary and how powerful they are, because everybody's got opinions and ideas about AI, right? And because of where I work and because of the stuff that I do, and because like I used to be a tutor and stuff as well, a lot of people come to me and ask for guidance on that side of things. So whenever I'm talking about that sort of stuff, I want to talk about it from an informed perspective. And because of that, it means I need to use the tools. It means I need to test them out. How dangerous are they? How powerful? Look at these graphics, man. How dangerous are they? How powerful are they? Should they be a concern? Are they all a lot of rubbish, like I found when I was doing the Halloween thing? Like they're really hard to actually make it do what you want it to do. So the plan for this, and I don't know when I'm going to do it, is clip together Richard O'Brien scrambling from one zone to another zone through tunnels and all of that, and see if I can replace his body with mine and his face with mine, and put Funkle Albert's music over the top, then redo these graphics as well. Do you know what I mean? Imagine I'm coming out of that, and then, but it's me. and then it cuts to me in the loft and I'm going up the ladder, the loft. You know what I mean? I think it could be interesting. But as a fun exercise, I happen to just go through and edit together all instances of the transitional sequences between zones in 90s UK TV show The Crystal Maze. I don't think I'm feeling very well. So that's what I've done. I think I'm still coping with grief, be honest with you. I think I'm still coping with grief a wee bit. So I've started looking at these tools, and one of them's called Higgsfield. So I went on and there's a Black Friday deal. It's not very good, but I've been able to make this image. So this isn't a real image of me. This was trained using things, and this is me in an Aphex Twin style lab coat. It's kind of decent resolution, by the way. This is me as a live streamer. Look at that. That's what live streamers look like, isn't it? This is me as another sort of Aphex Twin style technician. I look old there. Maybe that's just how I look now. So what I'm going to do is use this tool to generate still images and use that still image to then make a video where my body replaces the body of Richard O'Brien in the interstitials of the Crystal Maze setup, I think. So that's a wee project that's on the back burner. Don't know if it's going to work. But we'll see. We'll have a wee look. Hello SSRIs. Hello B2 Tech. Welcome in. How you doing? Gary Black says, is having tits in the loft a bit like having bats in the belfry? A stigmatising comment on your mental health? I think it might be, Gary Black. I think you might be spot on there. Hello beneath the headphones. Patchman says, I'm back at work this week after 2 weeks on holiday. My heart is also not in it. I just want to chill and play PS5 until the jet lag wears off. Aye, Patchmas, don't bother, man. Patchmas, it's nearly Christmas, right? Just get your feet up, don't worry about anything, and see if something goes wrong, like, fix it after Christmas, man. Basically, you're on holiday now, aren't you? Basically, if you think about it like that. Just don't worry about anything, and it's all totally fine. I'm sure it'll be alright. What are they going to do? Sack you? You can't sack people nowadays. It's illegal. Not unless you do something like horrific. You'll be alright. Don't worry about it. Just watch your stream and get paid. And use that money for fun stuff. Don't actually do anything. You'll be alright. Rye3D says, I still take vitamin D only because 1030 told me 2 years ago, and yet he doesn't himself anymore. Aye, I know. I'm a hypocrite. I'm a total hypocrite. I need to start following my own advice. Gary Black says, oh here, we talked about taking vitamins a couple of weeks ago. I was taking B and D and you suggested looking into K, and I have a multivitamin and I'm deep in a K-hole. I'm using the phrase right. You're using the phrase right. A healthy enriched K-hole. Well, did you find out it might be of benefit then if you're taking the D? No, you know, if you're taking the vitamin D, turns out taking vitamin K at the same time is a good, worthwhile endeavour. According to the internet. Do your own research. Here, check this out. I went to my local Costa, but it was kind of grim because it was in North Motherwell. And I saw this really washed out image of a wee boy, right, advertising Costa, and it didn't look professional, right? Just looked as if somebody's maybe, it's all like bleached and stuff. And he doesn't look like a model. Also, he's got like a Batman t-shirt on. You wouldn't put a registered trademark in your advertising, like a trademark of something else. So this is really questionable, right? But as it turns out, it wasn't just me that thought that this full thing is questionable, because a local artist has actually added some additions to the Costa advertising. The full thing was just grim, man, and I had to just take a photo of it. It made me no want to go back outside again. Anyway, took some photos of it just to show you. I can't sleep easy and then struggle to get up. Hello Jebaru, my sleep's all upside down by the way. I can sleep easy. Honestly, Rachel and I have been going to bed at like 8 o'clock at night and just sleeping, man. And I can sleep straight through till like 1 the next day. I feel like shite. Big Scary Deer says 15 to 20 minutes of cardio every day makes a difference for me. Aye, 100%. I need to start looking after myself. The face says definitely Linehan vibes. Being a bigot is tiring. Aye. I just felt like shit. Looks like you're about to serve the local police station with a court summons about COVID lockdown crimes. 100%. Rye3D, congratulations on feeding Pepper. She has a lovely wee bounce. Aye. See when Pepper's up on the couch and she's trying to get off the couch, instead of just jumping down, she'll look over the edge, then she'll do a couple of wee practice jumps before she jumps down. It's funny. She's a funny wee dog. I hope Pepper knows it was me that did that and she'll love me forever. She does, right? 3D, she loves you forever and ever. The hydrate button moved under my finger as I scrambled to feed Pepper. I wonder if I should put fake buttons round about the Pepper feed button, because as soon as it's redeemed it'll disappear. So I wonder if I should put wee landmine buttons so that if somebody goes to click it and another one moves because it was redeemed, somebody will like redeem I'm a silly sausage or something. I'm not putting the effort into that. I'm not doing it. Aye, 2 crooked fingers. I agree with you. Fuck Coca-Cola. Fuck the Coca-Cola company. It is what it is. It's my next vice to go. I've just quit smoking a vape. The next vice to go is Coca-Cola because the company are bad and evil. I saw The Offspring at the weekend. They were excellent. Aye. It's been a good time for Scottish entertainment. Football last night. Sensational. Sensational. Shit! I fucking sensational. So that's good. And aye, it's all kicking off, man. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else that's worth showing you in my iCloud photos. There isn't. I've got lots of things that I have spotted on the internet. We need to talk about the Steam Cube. I want to talk about a new typeface that I've picked for the Bubble Robot. I want to show you a cool wee guy who's made a thing that's interesting. I want to show you a sculpture that looks kind of cool. And about 8 other things. So we're going to be doing that. Hello William Tolan, how you doing? Welcome in. How's it going? Thank you very much for subbing. I hope you're doing good. Football was so good, the lead singer of The Offspring is now called Dexter Scotland. Hello Funko. Shaggy says, good news, I finally managed to get my Wi-Fi card working in my old MacBook Pro on Arch Linux. That sounds hard, but congratulations. Linux is great until something just doesn't work, and then you're like, well, how the hell do I get that to work? And it's like, no, there's no NVIDIA drivers, you go fuck yourself. And you're like, but this was, everybody's saying this is brilliant. No, it's not brilliant. But well done for getting all your stuff good. Hello Avgas, maximum respect to you. Is that the Isle of Man flag? Alright, cool. Sorry, I rifted. Cool, Mike 3 Legs. Welcome in and how's it going? When I see main question is, are you alright? I think of you saying it. Oh, cool. Where are we? Pachima says, get some mealworms in that box. Well, what I was thinking is I could put mealworms next to the box because I don't want mealworms, because we've got dried mealworms and stuff. I don't know if it's a good idea to put them in the box and then, because there's like a wee grate bit so that it can keep clean and so that it'll drain. I don't want mealworms to get into the grate and then get wet and then maybe, do you know what I mean? So I maybe want to put the mealworms next to the box, but maybe not in the box, and keep the box clean and fresh, and it's only stuff that the wee bird brings in. I don't know how it works, but I've sort of been overthinking it. Lama-chan gave me advice on how to befriend a magpie who hangs around outside my window, and now I've made a name for myself in the local Corvid community. That is amazing. That is class. The roof is all sticking out nails. Aye, there's nothing that can really be done about that. I want to be pals with crows and stuff. Some graphics for the in-between time. Aye, 100%. So I'll need to do some... I'll need to do some work on Crystal May stuff. Hello, B. Dolan, welcome in. Hello, a little Willow, how's it going? Maximum respect, Will. Thank you very much for subbing, I hope you're doing good. I'm a wee bit behind in chat, folks. It's because I've just been blabbing about all sorts of different stuff. But I've got at least 10 or 15 tabs filled with stuff that I want to talk about, and so we're going to go through them and we're going to be talking about them. There's still time for good news. If anybody's got any good news, let me know what we're talking about. LD Gav says, does your mind constantly spin with these ideas when you try to get to sleep? Just curious. LD Gav, currently no. Currently I've got a problem, and I think it's just like a vitamin deficiency or something, where I am really tired all the time, constantly. I'm so tired. So as soon as I put my head down, I'm sleeping. Although, to be fair, what I've been doing at night is being on my phone chatting to ChatGPT about technical stuff to do with various projects that I've got going on. But ever since being at art school, if I've got a project on, I don't really separate my day into working versus not working. It's always just in there. It's always just brewing. But it's always been like that. It's not overwhelming or a curse or anything. But currently, I will sleep as many hours as I'm able to sleep. So I think it's to do with the weather or something. Or just not looking after myself. I rifted again. You could do different ones for different TV shows and movies. Star Trek The Next Generation. Jeffrey's Tube, Die Hard in the Air Vents. Aye, Hammy, I'm into it. I'm going to see how easy it is to transplant my body on Richard O'Brien's body, because I tried it with a couple of clips, didn't work. But I think it might be a skill issue. I think I might just not be doing it very good. I should name the wee birdie Houston, because then you can say Houston's roosting. That's good beneath the headphones. That's brilliant. Luna says, zoned out and thought you were talking about the wee bird. Haha, I want to replace his body with my body. I might. You'll have to put on and take off a bald cap before every move. Could be funny. Maybe Hugh TV. Although hopefully there is a way of doing it so that he just looks exactly like me. I don't know. The reason I'm doing it is to test out this brand new tool, which is supposed to be just sensational. So this is the tool here, right? And this is the advertising tool that got me to spend a couple of quid on a Black Friday sale. Don't get it, right? But here, look at this. So the top one is that film 1914 or something. Somebody has just dragged on Brad Pitt. And it does look sensational. That looks brilliant. And it looks really scary as well. Because the implication is that you can then just make fake video of people doing anything. And if that's the case, I want to know about it. Because my job is in VFX and video and all of that sort of stuff. So if this technology exists, even if it's evil, I need to have a familiarity with it for my... because this is my industry. So here it is as well. So I tried it out and I couldn't get it working. So I'm going to try and get it working. So this is the source video, is the guy. And then he's uploaded an image of a babe. So there's somebody dancing, and then if you upload, oh no, it's not showing you that one, the image, the video just started again. So instead of doing this with it, I want to transplant myself into an interstitial of Richard O'Brien. Do you know what's interesting, right? See all these AI tools? Some of them, there's a certain scene within the AI tools that are a bit sort of right-wingy, right? And I'm just aware of that, because if these right-wing people have got access to tools that can make very convincing video, I need to know about that. I need to be able to spot it, and I need to be able to know what the limits are. So for a lot of them, it's Elon Musk. They've put Elon Musk in various Ferris Bueller's Day Off or something like that. And now Sydney Sweeney seems to be a feature of right where they've latched onto her for some reason. So here is Sydney Sweeney replacing Taylor Swift or something. Or vice versa, it's hard to even tell. I think by looking at it, it's actually Taylor Swift. Do you know? I don't know. Don't know what one's the real one. Probably Sydney Sweeney's the real one, because there's a microphone there, which has been omitted. It's hard to tell though, isn't it?
Hello.
Aye, but one's
Monsters,
fake.
the Lyle and Eric Menendez story.
She doesn't have a card or
Adolescence.
anything, and that doesn't really look like it. So we need to be familiar with this, which is why I've decided to use it for a wee project. This is obviously Cosmos. They've tried to put Sydney Sweeney in there. Doesn't look like her really. She looks like her face has been... She's just woke up, all the muscles aren't active or something. OnlyFans creators are using it. Apparently, that's worrying. So this is the technology that I would like to investigate. The problem is though, right, so if you go online, it's always just the same videos that people are using to show it off. And I haven't seen anybody use it for their own projects. The only things that I've seen people using it on are videos to showcase the tool that look like sort of influencer style advertising videos, and then I've went to use the tool myself and I can't really get it working very good. So I think the full thing might be a big inflated scam. So I'll let you know where to get with it, but I want to just see myself going through various zones in the Crystal Maze. There is that guy in that film. And I think it entirely depends on the angle. So, Richard O'Brien, in the shots that I've given it, he starts off out of frame and he comes in frame. That might be difficult. And although here you see the back of the head and stuff. I don't know. Don't know. So I need to experiment with it. And I haven't really put in too much time. Most of my time nowadays has been in trying to fix this tracking project, because I would like to author the software. But I think that would be a good wee use case of it. Is that why you sent me an AI video of myself fighting the police at 5 AM? Yes, Beadle, and that's exactly why I did that. Also, I didn't present that to you as an example of something that's good. I just saw it and I thought, he needs to see this. Jess Panda, how you doing, Panda? Welcome in. Thank you very much for subbing. How's it going? Thank you very, very much. Oh, had a wee bubble. Sorry, I'm behind in chat. Do you think AI will ever be dangerous enough to burn down a historic Scottish art school? Or is it just a human thing? Where were you that night? Don't mind me, carry on. You can't prove a thing, mate. You can't prove a thing. I made sure of it. Okay? Okay. Where are we? pretty good. The lighting's a touch off. Aye. There are... Aye. Totally. I'm not presenting it to you as an example of something that is good, but somebody should be researching this from a neutral position, and I think that somebody might as well be me. Where are we? I studied Da Costa once when I was in school and came out to a parking ticket. It's a fucking horrible party. Well, it's not horrible, it's just interesting. Every time I go to that part of the world, it's interesting. If you look at it on Google Maps, you can see a guy who was on a TikTok in a wheelchair with a can of Tennent's next to the post office, I think. Let's see if it's still there on Google Maps. No, I can't see it without potentially here. He's got a can of Tennent's in the daytime, man. Sorry, it's not a wheelchair, it's a mobility scooter. Just out with a can of Tennent's, man. Sun's out. Yes, man! I like how they've blurred out the Tennent's as well. But the advertising billboard was here. So it needs to be fairly new, that advertising billboard. It needs to be fairly recently that's been put up. But aye, this is an interesting part of the world that I sometimes find myself in. Anyway, all the very best to that guy if he's still kicking a ball. Anyway, I took some vitamin D liquid and I had such insane placebo reaction I felt like I was coming up on class A's. Here, I want a shot of that. Your carbon monoxide detector's working? Probably not, Chameleon. We should look at... no, they should be. Well, we've got smoke alarm detectors, but I don't know if they do carbon monoxide. I think the Steam Machine, if it's priced right, will be the device that makes me move away from Windows completely. Aye, the Steam Machine looks great. So we'll go on to talk about that in a wee second. But Valve, the company that makes Steam, Half-Life, all that sort of stuff, have announced they're coming out with a new video game console, and it actually looks really good. It's maybe not the best graphics that exists, but it'll play all the games, and it can access all the games that are already in your Steam library that a lot of people have been building for a few decades, and they won't charge you money to play online, which is something that's just sort of been normalised by Xbox and PlayStation over the past couple of years. And Valve seem to be kinda cool. So they've bundled it with an interesting VR headset as well, which looks to be like moddable and good. So I'm keeping an eye on that. I'm the sort of person that I will probably never buy a video game console. I've got a PC here. I like to play PC games. I've got quite a big PC game library. However, sometimes I wouldn't mind just sitting on the couch with Rachel and playing some stuff. So I thought about getting a separate older, like an old office computer, and rigging that up to the telly in the living room. But it's a lot of work and a lot of effort. And depending on the price of this, I think it could be interesting. The new Steam Cube, or whatever it's called, the Gabe Cube as people are calling it. So that looks quite interesting. Hello Mary Biscuits, 10:30 behind in chat. No, 100%. 87 says, I've just realised I've not been in here since watching the Halloween stream, so would just like to know how amazing it was. Thank you! Halloween stream was amazing, wasn't it? Who hasn't seen it yet? You should really watch the Halloween stream, it was sensational. Hammy says, the Steam Machine might be a big problem for Xbox, they've beaten Microsoft to the punch. Aye. Although, see, if you were Xbox, just make some good decisions then. Stop charging people for online play, be sound. just be generally sound, offer a better product. I think this is good. How good would it be if all these companies that exist were competing to offer us the best product that they can? That would be great, wouldn't it? Rather than all competing to make their shareholders the most money. Because if they offer us the best product, then we will go with them rather than the competitors. I think it's great. Where are we? Basin Brace says, good news, first day in the new job and I'm already watching you at my desk. Fucking yes. Don't do work. Avgas says, I hear you on the sleep 10:30, I sleep like a log and I'm still yawning half hour after I roll out of bed. I'm taking a break for coffee to try and sort this. Do you know, I've only in the past sort of 3 or 4 months got back into coffee. So I wonder if that's something that I should pay attention to myself. But I suppose it'll get worse before it gets better. Mary Biscuit says, pro tip, get vitamins in delicious fruit gummy format so you actually want to take them. That sounds good. Flintstones chewable morphine. Beneath Headphones says, good news, it's my granddad's birthday. He's a class guy. Happy birthday, Beneath the Headphones. He's granddad, by the way. That's brilliant. Sumdirt says, I use ChatGPT every day learning how to build a home lab. Nice one, Sumdirt. I have got... goodness me, JM Blends, welcome in. Thank you very much for the raid, JM Blends. Welcome in, Raiders. I don't know why there was 2 Bubble Blasts. Did you just raid and then sub? You shouldn't have got 2 Bubble Blasts. You only get 1 per raid. JM Blends, how you doing? Welcome in. Thank you very much. Welcome in, Raiders. If you're new here, get me followed, man. I'm class. And a class, everybody. I'm 10:30. I go by he, him, and I'm just class. JM Blends, how you doing? Welcome in. Thank you very much for the raid. If you're just in, feel free to share your good news on the internet. A lot of bad news. Everywhere you look, bad news, right? I'm in charge of this particular part of the internet, and here we like to share some good news. I'm a bit behind in the chat because the chat is very active with stuff. So we were just talking about Sumdirt is building a home lab. So I've got TrueNAS Scale set up, and I've just added a Jellyfin server, and it all seems to be working good. Have you tried B vitamins? No. Need to get into all my vitamins. I need to maybe get some blood tests done. Willow, how you doing? Willow says, good news, adopted a feral rescue street kitten. She's so brave, she's coming out of her shell, learning to play Sleeping on My Pillow, and learning that she's safe now. Oh, how good are we animals? All the very best. Willow, have you got a name for her yet? Because I heard you talking about her in Cudder's chat, was it? And, I mean, you shouldn't rush a name, but if you've got a name for her, why know what the name is? Wee kittens. Hammy says, good news. I pre-ordered the limited edition PlayStation 30th anniversary book a while back and was worried about how correct all the information would be in it. Turns out, I know the writer. It's me. I've been having a book I pre-ordered. I've been writing a book I pre-ordered the last few weeks. What do you mean? You are the writer and you didn't know about it? Or you wrote a book and you're... What are you talking about, Hammy? That sounds cool, whatever it is. Mary Biscuit says, good news, after getting a first in my physics degree, congratulations, I've decided to do a Master of Science. I reserve the right to change my mind and consider it bad news at any point over the next 3 years. All the very, very best, Mary. What are you doing the Masters in? It's not astrophysics, is it? Is it astrophysics? Layer over a really bad sports team onto a winning team just to let long-suffering fans feel like their team is good. Listen, we in Scotland are going to take what happened last night to really bolster our confidence until we get absolutely ridden in the first game of the tournament, and then we'll go back to feeling shite. But until that point, fucking freedom, ya baz, man. Where are we? I've lost my place. Same reason I'm keeping up with AI 3D modelling tools Don't like them, but need to know. To be fair, I could be doing with AI helping with retopologizing this car model I'm working on, but no one cares, is interested in making practical AI. I think retopology as a idea keeps coming up within the world of machine learning and AI tools, and I think it will be a problem that's solved eventually because everybody's desperately asking for that as a product. Anything that can reduce labour will be sold to us. So right now in Photoshop you can cut round people fairly easily, just with one click. You didn't used to be able to do that. I really wish we had that tool during the era of Boris Johnson and Donald Trump, because I worked in TV news and their pish hair was really hard to have to cut round. I had to cut round them multiple times a day. I really wish we had the one-click AI tool to make my day easier, but we didn't at the time. Now we do. Nobody complains about it because it really enriches people's lives. It's wonderful. But then there's other sides, other tools that aren't as good for humanity. In the future, we need to record ourselves 24/7 to prevent being framed for things. We didn't do it if we were in situations where that could happen. Well, who's to say that the recordings aren't AI? In the future, I don't think there will be truth. I don't think anybody will be able to assert absolute truth. You know what I mean? We will all just have our own truths and people's minds will be easy to manipulate. So that's cool, isn't it? This is similar to the thing I asked you about 1030. It does not seem far from scramble soup potential. I think working with different passes of video like that and then taking into After Effects and sort of blending between them with like a turbulent displacement effect thing. I mean, it's a fair bit of work, but it could be done. It would be difficult to do it live though. Sydney Sweeney is a registered Republican, might have something to do with it, I see. Isn't her husband just a baddie as well? Don't know. It's getting very close to the plot of Blake 7. Technology can be used to frame enemies of the state or establishment. 100%. I need to watch more Blake 7. I found several videos of you showing off your feet on Hobbit feet. I don't know what you're talking about, Ethereal. Those videos should be behind a paywall. The issue I can see is gatekeeping, who can use the tools and for what aims. Aye. I think just like everything that's went wrong in the world ever, right? It's people that are the baddies. And all these tools can be used to reduce labour and stuff, potentially. But they can also be used to defraud people and to exploit folk. And so even if you invented the best thing that can give people free food or give people homes that need them or whatever, as soon as a capitalist comes along and goes, oh I'm going to take this to rip the piss out of folk, and a conversation around AI that I wish happened more often is holding people to account, right, rather than holding the tools to account. So if you see somebody who's made a thing that is very exploitative or nasty or bad, the public tends to have a reaction against the tool itself rather than the people who've created it for that purpose or the people who've used it for a malicious purpose. And it would be good to hold people to account instead of letting them hide behind a tool, because psychologically humans will look for agency behind a thing, right? And because AI is kinda appears to be sentient, then the public will say, oh, it's the AI that's at fault here, and that gives bad guys a way of having a sort of shield from their dastardly ways. And more people need to talk about that, I think. I haven't quite articulated that thought robustly. Don't know if you can tell. It's the same as the LLM image generation. No one is really using them for anything other than a picture of a dragon with a sword. and the novelty wears off pretty quickly if you want anything other than some shiny keys jangling in front of your face. Aye. Chameleon, I think, like, obviously I work in visual effects, I work for telly, right? And there are certain instances where it would reduce a lot of labour. I've not worked on a job where it's been appropriate to use it, right? Because the technology is still problematic for various reasons. But I can see it applied to different areas that will in the future be a bit like what I just said, cutting around to people in Photoshop and reducing labour there. I haven't used it on a job. I decided to lean into it for the Halloween stream because it was appropriate to do it for that. Because of the theme and the tone and the fact that on that stream I was communicating AIs kind of can be bad. But I don't know, I feel compelled to investigate it. There was an AI font creation tool that was floating around a month ago on Twitter, turned out to be a vector tracer and an AI slop scam. Aye. Seems like a lot of the crypto scammer grifter guys that were the NFT scammer grifter guys are now AI grifter guys. And I think, here's my prediction for AI tools, right? There are certain industries where it is obviously invaluable, right? If you're a computer coder person, if you're involved in any technical work to do with computers, if your job is at a desk, all of that side of stuff, if you do any coding or any software development at all, you will still be using this in 5 years' time, right? But I don't think the bubble will pop. I reckon, like, remember when 3D printers came out? It was all over the news that people are going to be using them to print guns. And this is dangerous, 3D printers, it's a big scare story, fuck. And then all of that's went away, but certain very specialised industries still use them. And they're great for certain things and they're terrible for other things. I reckon that's where AI is going to be. I reckon once it all settles, people will find stuff where it works great. Like, I was looking at that Gemini 3, which is a new model by Google, and it can make websites dead quick that look great, that are functional, and that don't require a lot of labour. Will that put a lot of web developers out of work? Probably. But it might just mean that they can do the work quicker, you know, because somebody will still have to manage all of that and talk to a client and whatever. But that looks very powerful. It's only been out for a couple of days. That's not going to go away, right? People are going to be using this because it's incredibly powerful. But there's lots of just slop apps, like what Apple are doing, turn your face into a wee cartoon of a penguin or some. I don't know if people need that, you know what I mean? I don't know, man. But we'll see. It's literally the most common spec from the Steam hardware survey, which is a smart place to get your metrics. Aye, 100%. Could you get a Steam machine in place of an actual PC, like to do jobs on it and stuff? I believe so, Patchimus. So essentially it is just sort of a PC. I think it's got an ARM processor in it. I think. Somebody in chat correct me. Which means... So this isn't the actual version of the Steam box. This is somebody that's put a Spectrum in front of it and like given it a skin, right, that I just thought was kind of cool. But as far as I'm aware, you should be able to put in a mouse and keyboard. I think it can run a version of Windows. It isn't out yet. It doesn't have a price yet. But it's designed to run Steam games. And I think it's going to be really good, depending on the price for it. I can see the Steam machine being like 700 or 800 quid for a just okay computer. I hope to hell it isn't 700 or 800 quid. I hope so. Gabe Newell is incredibly rich. He's just bought a 111 metre yacht, right? And wouldn't it be great, because he's historically known for doing kind of sound stuff, wouldn't it be great if he subsidised the cost of this? I can see him doing something like that. Like, who's the Palmer Luckey, who isn't a good guy, he's made billions on like selling weapons and stuff to be used in various genocides and stuff, right? So Palmer Luckey is a tech geek who is into some questionably horrible stuff. But he's just come out with a new Game Boy. And if you didn't know it was associated with him, the Game Boy looks brilliant. He's recreated a Game Boy Color and it looks brilliant, man. It's like new boards. It's a brand new Game Boy Color with a good screen, all of that sort of stuff. And he's selling it at a loss because it's just he's got all the money in the world. He doesn't need it to make money. He just wants to release a cool product. But a lot of people are not buying it because he's a horrible bad bastard, because of the ways in which he made his money, you know. So Gabe Newell is just, you could say, has got too much money. And it would be a sort of Gabe Newell move if he sold the Steam machine even just at cost, because Valve have got money, man, and that would have a consequence of having, like, they would make it back on software sales, I would say, because if there's like so many million new ways of playing Steam games, then that means that there will be more Steam games purchased and stuff. I hope it's not 800 quid, because nobody's going to spend 800 quid on it. I've heard somebody say it might be a comparable price to the Xbox. I don't even know how much an Xbox is anymore. But we'll see how it goes. If it is 800 quid, I'm not buying it. If it's 500 quid, I'm still not probably buying it. Because I've got a computer right here, you know. But I would quite like a wee console machine next to the telly. He said it's supposed to be an entry-level system, so it'll be around 700 to 800 quid, which is mental. It is mental. When you consider you can also just use it as a normal PC because you can access the Arch desktop. There you go. Very curious about the prices for each item. Priced right, I'd be interested in any of all of it. I quite like the idea of the virtual reality headset as well, because it seems to be very moddable. Willow has a name for the cat. Willow says her name is Moss, or full name Sylvie Radish Moss, for when she's off to format events, winning awards and that. That is amazing. That is class. Well done to Moss and to Willow. Hammy, talking about the PlayStation book, says, I was asked to jump on the project and rewrite some of it. That is class, man. So there you go. It will be truthful and accurate. The PlayStation. Am I right, everybody? Retopology is awful. Nobody wants to do any retopology. If we can get AI to do that, life will be good. We're in a world where video is no longer an indicator of truth, so it will no longer be possible to use it to prosecute or defend someone. That's interesting that technology is coming out round about the time of the Epstein files, isn't it? Video will become corroborative evidence like other evidence, but it could possibly be not considered absolute evidence like it is now. Interesting times we're in. We can't uninvent stuff, but we can regulate it and punish people who do bad shit. Totally. We need to hold the people to account rather than let them hide behind technology. Did you see this AI thing? AI's awful. Look, the AI did that. Hold on, right? Understand what you're saying. There's room for nuance here, though. And I know we're on Twitter, and I've already in this sentence run out of the things. But who made that? And who are they? Let's get into that. Who made that? Can we do anything to stop them from making that? You're right, the technology allows people to do bad. So maybe the conversation needs to be framed not as the technology is evil, but the technology is allowing people to do evil stuff, or could potentially allow people to do evil stuff. Some of the technology is evil as well. But folk need to be held to account. They just really need to stop forcing it into stuff that isn't useful in, like relentless clippy everywhere. I completely agree with that as well. It's so off-putting. The problem with that is marketers. So CEOs and people trying to sell them things. Alright, here's what I've been working on. Look, here's this new technology. Jam that into this thing and we'll make money because it's brilliant. And the CEO's like, right, aye, cool, let's do that. But nobody's asked for it, and it doesn't solve any problems, and it often just performs worse. However, in the right hands, doing the right jobs, it can be incredibly useful. Perhaps the most immediate danger of AI is currently the bubble. The bubble just is going to burst. It doesn't mean AI is going anywhere, it's just that a big chunk of the stock market value is going to go away. Yes, there is a lot of companies that are just shoveling money into other companies. Microsoft, OpenAI, Nvidia, some others. I think there's like 7 companies, and they're all just sending the same money. That one sends it to that one, that one sends it to that one, that one sends it to that one. Peter Thiel, he's a bad guy as well, has now moved all his money out of AI, and I think has got short bets on Nvidia because he thinks they're going to fail quite soon. Around about the same time, Bitcoin has plummeted in value. I think it's just begun to stabilise in the past day or so. So the market seems to think there is going to be some sort of crash or some sort of bubble. But then at the same time, Google have just announced Gemini 3. And everybody's saying this is incredible. It's like, I've not used it yet, but it's apparently really good at stuff. So who knows, man. Cool, so folk are saying it's an AMD processor. It's a desktop processor. SteamOS Linux. SteamOS is a custom version of Arch Linux with KDE Plasma as its desktop environment, and I've been told it can very faithfully emulate Windows games. Using Gemini to guide me in an AI-powered Dalek, hoping it can be autonomous, very little coding background, so seeing how far it can guide me. All the very best. You know, Half-Life 3 is going to be Streambox only. I can't see that happening. Half-Life 3, if they release it, and I hope they do, man. I've been waiting more than half my life for Half-Life 3. It has to also be a PC game. It has to be. It has to be. But who knows, man. The first one should be Lost Leaders. I would imagine it would be. Gabe is the only guy who I'm happy has a yacht. Aye, hello Neil Sorns, how you doing? Gabe Newell, see if you want a yacht, mate. Have a fucking yacht. You seem to be as sound as somebody who's that wealthy can be. Palmer Lucky claims to have built a permadeath VR helmet. I really want him to try it out. Aye, he seems like a bad guy. Dear me. I used ChatGPT to co-create a website thing yesterday and it was really helpful. It made some obvious errors which I had to call it out on. But if I didn't know anything about web dev, it would have been quite different and I don't think it would have worked out well at all. So I think there will still be a place for web developers is what I'm saying. I totally, completely. My prediction is the Steam machine will be $1,000 or $1,299. See if it's that price. I can't see people getting it. Like, globally, we're in a cost of living crisis. This seems to be a sort of mid-range PC. I hope they put it up as a loss leader and will eventually make the money back on Steam sales. But I don't know anybody who's up for dropping $1,000 on a console that isn't as powerful as their Windows machine. But I don't know, man. They said it'll cost the same as an entry-level computer, so probably more than a console. I see. Who knows, man. If we're taking Bex, a ring will be tiered from $700 to $800. $700 to $900. I hope the GameCube becomes a new standard so that developers actually optimise code for mid-range PC hardware. Aye. I think it can only be a good thing. As somebody who's already got quite a vast Steam library, I think this can only be a good thing. I just hope it's priced kind of reasonable. But I mean, what would a fantasy price be? You know what I mean? It still needs to be realistic. Is £1,000 a reasonable cost for a video game console these days? I don't know. How do I know I'm not an AI watching an AI talking to other AIs in chat? You might be, Ethereal. One thing AI LLMs and stuff has taught us is that our understanding of what consciousness is might, might be informed by how machine learning works and things, and it gets a bit trippy when you realise that we might not be special divine beings, we might just be something that can be demonstrated in code. But that gets a bit trippy. Let's not think about that. I like a PlayStation. Do you like a PlayStation? True to themselves, tetrapod-based life tends to collaborate and inform each other a sense of an every change in reality or state of being, a sense of existence. We know birds are avian, archosaur and theropod dinosaurs, mammals, primates, and all four-limbed life has distinct tetrapod shared ancestors. We work best as a symbiotic group that learns, adapts and helps each other and communicates knowledge across species. I wonder what could be done to reinforce our ability to help each other and adapt and communicate, rather than... I wonder if it's just human condition that some of us will hoard resources and try and exploit each other for our own personal gain. I wonder if that could ever be fixed within humanity so we can get to this utopian collaborative framework for existing, or if it's just a condition that we will always have because it's part of who we are. Interesting, isn't it? Pablo Diablo, don't hoard my resources, Pablo Diablo. Guillotines, maybe. I'm going to hoard all the guillotines. Anyway, it's interesting. It's always done my box in when some company will go, oh, it was a system error or whatever. Aye, but it's still your problem, ain't it? It's your system. Yes. There's that old adage that is being replaced now, that a computer should never make a management decision because a computer can never be accountable, can never be held accountable for anything. But that's now out the window now because computers are making management decisions every single day. Anyway, I've got some other tabs to show you, everybody. Half-Life 3 will be a VR game with AI integrated to talk to the occupants within the game. I came up with that idea. I've tweeted about it about 2 years ago, because for every Half-Life game that comes out, there is always a brand new technology, and it's within Valve's ethos to not release a game unless they're showcasing a technology that's never been seen before. And that's what I speculated that it is going to be. I think I've got a time-stamped tweet as well, and if I'm right about that, oof. But it seems very un-Valve to use AI for things, so I don't know. AI is cool and still making progress, but it's still way overvalued, so the bubble needs to pop. I don't know. It's hard to predict the future, isn't it? Nintendo are the only company that doesn't sell consoles at a loss. Really? Valve have put a lot of effort into Proton, which is the Windows compatibility layer, which, while aimed for games, does work with a lot of software if you're willing to try. Interesting. The Steam Frame will be cheaper than the Index. I do quite like the VR headset. I hope that is reasonably priced as well. It's not emulation. Valve and the community did a lot of work in Proton, which is a project based on Wine, to recreate the Windows API without emulation or copyright infringement. I see. So it'll run fast and natively and good. Valve have specified they will not be loss leading. They don't want enterprise buying thousands of units and no games. I suppose, because it is just essentially a PC. So if they sell it as a loss leader, loads of folk could just buy it and use it as their home computer and not actually put money into Steam. Aye, you're quite right. My Steam library's out of control, 1,206 games and counting. Let's see how many games I've got. How do I see how many games I've got in my Steam library? How do I see how many games I've got in my Steam library? Uncategorized 73, best 83, and favourites 3. So I've not quite got hammy level stuff. I don't know if that's everything though. I want to go through and set some up. Does the Steam Machine photo have a ZX81 as a keyboard? Aye, it's a skin that somebody made. Oh, I think I've just closed it down. But it's a skin somebody made for the Steam Machine that I thought was kind of cool. I've just closed it. Half-Life will be a VR game with AI integrated to talk to occupants within the game. Could be interesting. Half-Life 3, man, they need to do Half-Life 3. They have to do Half-Life 3. Wasn't there already a VR Half-Life? Did I dream it? There was Half-Life Alyx. Goodness me! My god, Sumdart, thank you very much for that. Sumdart has just gifted 10 bloody subs. Sumdart has gifted a sub to Get a Whale, to Jam Handler, to The Mog Says, to Stevie, to Operatic Bacon, to Psychosomatic, Julio Hoops, Rabbit Snap, Coomer McGregor, and Willie Milf. Hello, Willie Milf. That is class. Thank you very, very much for that. I've just got a wee notification for that. Sumdart, thank you very much. If I've just happened to say your name, please feel free to say thanks in chat to Sumdart. Sumdart, I hope you took advantage. Willie Milf's in chat. Hello here. I hope you took advantage of a discount there, Sumdart. I hope you did. Did you? Is the discount still on? Thank you very, very much. What a legend. Cheers. That's really cool. Listen, everybody, I've still got more stuff to talk about. And I'm at the bottom of the chat as well. And I'm never at the bottom of the chat, so that's good going. Sony and Microsoft will always need you to pick up a few games and a second controller at launch to break even. Nintendo built to a price point to profit from day one. Interesting. Very interesting. Half-Life 3 is a launch title on the Steam Machine, can you imagine? God. The world needs a Half-Life 3. It really does. We've been through a lot. We need Half-Life 3. So I've never played Half-Life Alyx. I've never had a good VR setup. I was thinking about buying, like going to CEX or something and buying just a second-hand VR setup, playing through Half-Life 3 on stream and then selling that VR setup. But I don't know what one to get and all of that sort of stuff. I don't need VR or want it. I mean, VR's kind of cool. I quite like it. But I don't have disposable money to buy a VR setup. But I'd quite like to play Half-Life Alyx, and I'd like to play it on stream. Too much pressure on Half-Life 3, no way they can possibly make it good enough for the nerds. They'd be daft to try. I don't know, if anybody can make it good, it would be them, maybe? I don't know. Sumdart, you're a legend. Thank you very, very much. Absolute legend. Shadow Drop Half-Life 3, that would be the alpha option. Aye, imagine they're just like that. There you go. We can't have a Scotland win in Half-Life 3, that's too much. Listen, for every high, there's going to be a low in it. We're going to come tumbling down, Neil Slorence. Just wait. Oh, here, sorry, I found it again. Sorry, this isn't the actual Steam Machine. This is just somebody has put a Sinclair badge on it and labelled it to look a wee bit like a Sinclair ZX81. But I do like the red power button on it and the red highlights on the USBs. That's cool. But apparently this front face can come off it, and you can sort of customize it and things. That's a good idea. But I like the idea of this. Right, everybody, I have found the typeface that I'm going to use on the Bubble Robot. This is a typeface from the US graphics company, and it's called Houston Mono, which seems very appropriate because my name's James Houston. It's not available yet, though. It's coming later this year. I was in touch with the guy who runs US graphics company, and he has offered me a good deal on the typeface. because I explained that I'm going to technically use it for commercial work, but it's more an art project rather than I'm not selling it to a client or whatever. I really like this typeface, and the US graphics company seems to be good people. Here's what it looks like in print. So I don't have a hold of a trial version yet. I was using another typeface called Berkeley that they've made, but look at that, it's nice, and there's almost ink traps in the asterisk there. Really, really like it. And so that will be used for the Bubble Robot as sort of metadata for all the bubbles that get made. It's a dope-ass typeface. I like it a lot. Some about the font screams 80s NASA. That is exactly the inspiration from it. So Houston, as in Houston, we've got a problem. So this is Berkeley Mono, which looks kind of similar. And that's the typeface that I was going to go for. And they've just announced that Houston is coming out. So I think I'll go for Houston instead. Where are we? But we'll see how it goes. It depends when the font gets released. And so I might just use Berkeley until that point. But the inspiration was definitely, NASA, Houston, all that sort of stuff. Houston Mono will feature 24 styles of the Zero glyph. Coming soon, only from the US graphics company. Looks good, doesn't it? I quite like it. So that'll be used for the metadata. So there's a different type of zero. So it's very adaptable. And that's what it looks like in body copy. I think I will go for white on black. Why not make your own? Because it'll take me 5 years. Making a typeface, I started making a typeface a long time ago. There's a lot in it, it's harder than you think. And the more you know about typography, the more you are unpleased with anything that you make. Here's somebody using an e-ink display on a Steam machine. That's quite interesting, isn't it? That's cool. So we'll see how it goes. I could sell you a full index set up for about half the price it retails for. I bought it pretty much solely to experience Alex and don't have much room for it in the new flat. Interesting. Scott Animates, thank you very much. I'm not really in a position now where I've got spare cash. So when you say half the price, my head isn't in VR. I don't really know how much that even is. But maybe. But at the end of the day, I don't know. But I was thinking about obtaining it and then going through Half-Life Alyx and then selling it. Because that seems like a good idea. But I maybe send us a wee DM or something. VR entry levels around 250 quid. Interesting. Maybe. I don't even know what the best ones are currently. Like, you've got the Meta one, but can you play PC games on that? You've got, obviously, the Apple headset, but that's for a different purpose and a different price point. You've got PSVR, but I don't think you can rig that up to a Windows machine, but you maybe can. You've got the ones that have got various boxes looking at you. You've got the Quests. My head isn't into what one is good or any of that. I need to have a wee look at it all. Metheglin, welcome in. How you doing? Thank you very much for 9 months at tier 1. Metheglin, how you doing? You can play PC games on the Meta Quest. Interesting. What's the best one for Scud? Now Base Embrace, you're getting into the right topics. Metheglin, thank you very much for sub and welcome in. We're talking about VR headsets. And Nora's Day, geez, Nora's Day, welcome in. Thank you very, very much for 46 months. My God. Moss was very into the bubble lab last there. Well, oh, you're cool, but could you type a wee bit better, please? I don't think they were the words you intended to communicate there, were they? The bubble blasts? Aye, sorry, aye. Bubble lab, bubble blast. The space was just in the wrong place. Fuck's sake, Willis says Funkle Albert. Well, could you get a grip, please? Was it because the bubbles were going about like a cat watching snooker? That's adorable. Nora's Day, thank you very much for subbing. Myth Eglin, thank you very much for subbing. I'm just waiting for Willow to say haha so that they know that it was funny rather than me actually being mean. The space was also Moss, please forgive me. I forgive yous both. Sometimes I'll say something like that and the fear creeps into me of like, oh my god, does that person think that I'm actually serious? What's the Gen 1 Vive go for these days? Mine has been sat in a box for years. See, that is also why I don't want to get VR. One, because I can't really afford that, right? If I had the money, it's best that I spent that on things that I need to spend money on elsewhere in my life. But two, if I do get a VR headset, I'll use it for a month maybe, and then I'll just bin it. I do quite like the idea of, on some VR headsets, that you can use it as an external monitor. So if you're working on a laptop or something, you can use it as a dual screen thing. And I think, depending on how comfortable or uncomfortable it is, that's something that I wouldn't mind doing. I wouldn't mind the idea of watching 3D films. So I borrowed years ago from... now, sometimes Lemmy will talk about a guy called Donnie. I know Donnie as well. And he had a Oculus Rift. And he just gave it to me because he bought it, played about with it, and didn't use it. So it was just on a shelf. So I borrowed it for him and I watched Gravity in 3D. And the film wasn't particularly good. But see, being just lying in bed, right, with a VR headset on and headphones, watching a 3D film in VR, it was really bloody good, man. It was a fun experience. Totally immersed me. It was great. So I would quite like to have the ability to just jump in and do that again. On the Oculus VR, there was a demo that you could just spin up. And it was very poor graphics, but it was a villa in Tuscany. It didn't look real or anything like that. It looked all CG and early computer graphics. But you could walk about this villa in Tuscany and go out to a wee river outside. The river wasn't animated, but you could hear the sound of a river. And it was so peaceful, man. This wee Tuscan villa. But it got to the point where I would come home from work, I would spend maybe half an hour, 20 minutes just in my Tuscan villa, nothing to do, just a wee experiential environment, a test demo. But then I noticed, see, once I took the VR headset off, all the grime of the real world was visible. I could see like the reality of my walls, and it made me want to go back into the headset. And I thought, right, well, that's a wee bit alarming and scary, that, isn't it? Somebody needs to write a bit of science fiction or something on that. My goodness me. Houston, have you lost weight, or is it a mad angle? No, Dave, I've lost a wee bit of weight, but it's been over the course of about a year and a half. Can I tell you exactly how much I've lost? Maybe I can, actually. I've been measuring it in American pounds. Oh, before we continue, let's confirm a few essential details. What's your name and all that? Fuck off. Aye, all of that's right. Let me click next then. Oh, what country am I in? Can you not detect it? You know where my phone is? Christmas Island. Just make up real... I just want to look at my weight. Open the application. They're hitting me with... Do you live in French Polynesia? No, I don't. You know where I live. Give me the option. See, when you're Scottish and you have to pick your country from a list, so you go to S for Scotland, it's no there. You're like, oh, fuck, right, they think I'm British. So you go for B for Britain, it's no there. You're like, you go for G for Great Britain, it's no there. Be fucking U for United Kingdom then. United Arab Emirates, United Kingdom, there we go. Next. We believe in healthy relationships. Your health data. We will process your data in accordance with the applicable laws and regulations. That's a vague sentence. Click the link below to learn what I accept. Your relationships, I agree. Our communications, agree, optional, so I don't agree. Okay. So, I used to weigh, how do you even see this? Oh, I don't even know, man. It's showing me the percentage rather than the actual weight. I have lost a wee bit of weight, to answer your question. Thank you very much. I need to sort of maintain it. Scout is a good novelty, but it's too weird pulling your pudding with a big helmet on. You're a big helmet, Stevja. I played Alex on a Rift CV1. It would be great on any headset. Cool, man. I need to play Half-Life Alex. 100%. Currently, the game library is not massive for VR. It needs more VR games and killer apps, definitely. There needs to be a reason to pull people in. Like, even Apple, with all the money with Apple, right, don't really have anything to offer in the VR space. For the Apple headset thing, there isn't even a YouTube app yet. And surely video content is where it's going to be, you know? But I don't know. Currently the game library is not massive. I've just read that, sorry. There's lots of uses in design work. Building stuff in 3D seems to be really good. Sculpting in 3D or any sort of 3D CAD design in VR would be incredible. Or any visual effects work that involves making things in 3D, I think would be brilliant. Hello Carnivore, welcome in, how's it going? That's what happened with my niece and nephew's headset, they don't use it after about 6 months. One of my pals worked with Donnie for a bit and loved him. Amazing, Roy 3D. It's a small world, isn't it? Donnie's cool, he's a nice man. I've got my daughter a Meta 3 for Christmas, she's into VR. Cool. I've got a CV1 Oculus, don't know about this Tuscan Villa thing. It was early. So it's basically you downloaded, this is years ago, man. Maybe at least 10 years ago. And probably more than 10 years ago. And for the Oculus, there wasn't really much that you could get. So I remember installing the thing. There were demos, so I got that demo, and I kept going back to the Tuscan Villa. Wasn't particularly good, but there just wasn't really much else that you could experience on it at the time. For some reason, I didn't know Oculus could do 3D films. I've seen 2D films on it in a virtual cinema style, but watching Gravity would be incredible. I think I had to obtain a special 3D film. I might have had to convert it as well, because some 3D films are presented with like one eye up here and another eye here. Other 3D films are presented that way. Again, this is at least a decade ago, so I don't remember how I got it working, but I did get it working and it was great. Films that are shot in 3D are amazing. Films that have been converted to 3D aren't particularly worth your attention. Star Wars game is brilliant on the Oculus Rift. Interesting. I've heard though that streaming in VR apparently isn't very good for the watcher, for the viewer of the stream. Here, speaking about ingenuity and VR and augmented reality and stuff, improving game experience, check out this wee guy. Look what he's up to, man. This is ingenuity. Turn your chair upside down, right? You watching this? Are there any sculpting or CAD in VR programs? Off the top of my head, I don't know what they are, but I've seen people use them. Check it as you see where this is going. Wee legend. Stick your phone in there. Stick on your driving game. Now you're thinking with portals, got a wee dedicated wee stool there. That's brilliant, isn't it? There you go. Imagine you walked in, saw your Wayne doing that. Oh, you'd be so proud. Or you would fly off the handle. Get that chair upright! What are you doing with that chair? But I think I would be kind of proud of the wee man. Look at this. And then he can drive using that as a steering wheel. Get in, lad. Look at that. That's brilliant, isn't it? What a cool wee guy. I'd maybe help him with his ergonomics. Because if he was playing that for too long, he would kind of get sore. So I wonder if there's something that could be built so that his knees could be under it and that he didn't need to be leaning forward as much. So I'd help him out with his ergonomics. But what a class wee invention. Great work. No pedals, lazy. Aye, 100%. You could set up pedals, I suppose. I don't know. You could, because phones these days, you can plug in your game controllers, can't you? So there would be a way of setting up pedals, I would imagine, depending on the game. Check this out. Don't know who made it, but that's kind of cool, isn't it? It's just screens. Thought that was kind of cool. This is a new feature of the stream that I'm doing. It's just called Stuff That I Saw on the Internet. Sorry, that might have been loud. But it's good, isn't it? Look at that. Stuff that I saw on the internet. Quite like that. Let's watch it through again. Don't know who made it. It's cool. Sort of trippy. Might be projection, actually. It might be projection. Rather than display technology. But if it is projection, I don't see the projectors. But it's maybe projection mapping. But I like it a lot. Don't know who made it. Don't know where you can see it. Speaking of stuff that looks kind of cool, David Rudnick is always worth a look. He made this poster recently that I just thought it's interesting. Lots of designers will rip off this guy. And he's a good guy. David Rudnick. I think he's based in Glasgow just now. He recently analysed how high up the Scotland fly kick was. If you take the balls as a 22 centimetre average, McTominay's might have been the highest fly kick or something like that. I saw this guy 10:30 on the internet. He's pretty cool. Thank you very much. Does it keep going to the backside? Aye, it does, Funko. So it's almost... Oh, I've shut it down. But it's good. So I like David Rudnick's... It's rare that you see somebody making stuff, and it works for a club night, do you know what I mean? It wouldn't work for various other clients. But it's rare that you see somebody making something that looks so drastically different for everybody else. And then as soon as he's made this, other folk are going to copy it, innit? But I maximum respect David Rudnick. Let's see what else we've got. I saw this, so you have to as well. It was the comment that got me. This picture could genuinely kill someone if they were on mushrooms, and so it could. So it could. Look at that. My God. Anyway. So this is an idea. It's a 24-hour clock that shows the sunrise and sunset. And it's just kind of trippy. I quite like the display of it, and again, see a monospace font like this. I'm thinking along these lines for the Bubble Robot. So I think that's why I clipped this, is the aesthetic might not be a million miles away from where I end up with the Bubble Robot, because that's roughly the sort of metadata, a monospace white typeface on a black background that is framed next to colour gradients, you know? Not a million miles away from roughly where I'm thinking for Bubble Robot visuals. But I'm a big fan of time representation. I've made a couple of clocks when I was a student. And I just thought this was a fresh version of it. I can't tell what time it is because it's a 24-hour clock,
put into a conventionally 12-hour clock setup, but it is what it is. What I would maybe do is have the background change rather than just have it stationary and put the 24 hours in one circle. But I enjoy the challenge of it. It is what it is. Nice just a wee simple project. 24-hour clock that shows the sunrise and sunset. I believe that's made by Emmy, that you can follow on... I'll give you a wee follow for that, Emmy. Soggy Burrito. Good work. Let's see what else you're doing. What else you're up to? Some ASCII stuff there. That's good. Oh yeah, this looks interesting. To plant a garden is to believe in the future. Oh, that's good. I might download a couple of their wee projects. Good gear. That's good gear. Eh? Are they on Blue Sky? I don't know. Don't know. It's a Commodore 64 style palette, it is. This made me laugh. It's the obvious next step for that creep. This made me laugh. Sorry, you need to look at that. Here is an article that I thought might be interesting to look at because it's a piece of software that we have been talking about on stream for a wee bit. So Music 2000 is a game that I had for the original PlayStation, and I believe in America it was called MTV Music Maker. But basically, it isn't a game, it's a piece of software that runs on a PlayStation. I think I've literally... Mine is somewhere here. It's within arm's reach, but I don't know exactly where it is. I've got a copy of Music and Music 2000 as it was known in the UK, or MTV Music Maker as it was known in America. Is it Music 2000 episode of Look Around You? And you could make music on a PlayStation. You could even, on Music 2000, import samples. You could take the game disc out, import a sample CD. So here is a big article on it that has been written after speaking to what's the name of the developer again? The developer, Cold Storage, that's it. No, that was the composer that made stuff on it. So Benga used Music 2000 to get started in grime. It's been used by loads of people. Skepta's used it, and I've been meaning to crack open Music 2000 for a wee bit in order to make some tracks. So I'm going to get back into it. But this article has just been written on it for anybody who wasn't familiar. It is a 10-minute read. I was going to read it on stream, but I'm not going to, man. Nobody wants to hear me read a thing out. But I thought I'd talk about it on stream because decent PlayStation journalism is hard to come by. So check it out. It's on a website called blackmarket.com, and it was released in November 17th by Nathan Evans, who's a freelance journalist. Have a wee read of that if you're into that. Whatever happened with that Sega chip you got? What do you mean, the one for the Mega Drive? I installed it, I believe. I'm rapping. Aye, so I've got 2 Mega Drives now that are all fully set up and everything. The problem with the Mega Drive was, where did we end up with that? I wanted to play games and look at it on this telly, but then split it out. So I needed that was it. So what's stopping me from playing Mega Drive games on stream is a SCART splitter. And to get a decent SCART splitter, you're talking about 70 quid. So I got that far in the project, and then that stopped me from proceeding. But the idea would be that I could play a game looking at this monitor here, and you would have a split feed into OBS and that you could see it here. But instead of doing that, if I really wanted to play Mega Drive games, I could use an emulator or something like that. I was looking into different types of CRT emulation, and some of it looks really good. But I've no been compelled to really play Mega Drive games on stream, and instead the full project was essentially me just tinkering on a Mega Drive and soldering stuff into it and things. But that project got finished. I had MTV Music Generator 2 on a PS2 and it was sick as, got me into making music. It was a lot of fun. My brother and I used to love Music 2000. He made a piece on it for his Music GCSE, awesome piece of software. Well, Bowdy sent me a really cool handheld Mega Drive thing. Mega Drive thing, and it can run PlayStation games as well. So I might crack that open after the stream, install MTV Music 2000 on it, and see. It's the sort of software that you need a manual for, because all the buttons do different stuff. But I'd be quite keen to try and make some music on it. That would be class. What else have I got to show you?
6 months.
Here is Hammy. Are you still in? Have you been in meetings like this? I don't know how much of this is real, but if anybody's been in a design meeting before, check this out.
Wanted to share. This is my visual artist. It took him 6 months to mock this up.
Why can't I hear it? That. And then... Sorry, I can still hear the background music. Get that stopped.
Wanted to share. This is my visual artist. It took him 6 months to mock this up. It's not totally ready yet, but this is like a working example of the very specific orange I want to be on every poster for this.
Wow. Timothy, I just don't want to interject to make sure you're sharing the right thing. We're just seeing an orange square. Is that right, guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what you're sharing. Okay, great. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
This is a very specific. I mean, I can make it a little bit bigger. I can make it bigger here. But you guys are catching this, right?
Yeah. That's super pleasant to look at for sure.
Wanted to share. This is my visual.
Don't know where that is from, but it's interesting. I've been in meetings like that. I can make it a little bigger. It just made the window bigger. Some get the cash, man. See if you can get the cash for picking an orange. One other thing I want to talk to you about before we go over to B. Dolan, because B. Dolan just went live and he's got some news. He's got some good news to speak to you about. So I want to watch B. Dolan stream. But a while ago, I was looking at... thanks for the follows. A while ago, I was looking at a piece of software called GB Studio, and it means that you can create Game Boy games and Game Boy Color games without having to do any coding. And GB Studio is free, and it's a robust way of making a real game that you can run on a real Game Boy, and it looks great, right? So, I've been looking at this for a wee while. I've got like 10 or so Game Boy cartridges, and I've done a wee bit of meddling in GB Studio just to see, and it's quite easy to do. You can make a character walk about, you can make them shoot stuff, pick things up. If you want to make a game that is like Super Mario or like Pokemon, or even like a sim game that's based in menus and stuff, or a point and click game, or like a space shooter or whatever, check out GB Studio. It's good, right? And so as I've been looking at all of this, I was more of a Mega Drive guy. I was more of a Sega guy than a Nintendo guy. The only fist fight I've ever got in my life was over because the Sega's better than Nintendo, right? It is, the guy was wrong. It had to be punched when I was about 9. Somebody on the internet, right, check this out, has taken GB Studio as a bit of software and forked it for the Mega Drive, but it's done really well, and so it can utilise the full power of the Mega Drive. So look at that. You can make wee games like this that can run on a real original Mega Drive, and also, so I'm playing this. What are the buttons? You can run it on a real Mega Drive, and you can export it to the web as well. I don't know how to climb a ladder. How good is that? It's now fairly trivial to make your own Mega Drive games without any code, without anything like that. So I don't have really time to build a Mega Drive game. But if I did, I would be checking out MD Engine, which is free. It's only really been released in the past couple of weeks. And it's a version of GB Studio, so maximum respect to GB Studio. But you create a game, you don't need to know how to code. It's all in the interface. You can import your own artwork. You can do lots of different style of games. You can export it as an application to sell on Steam, or to just be in a web browser like there, or most importantly, to export into a real actual cartridge to flash in order to play on a real Mega Drive game. So you need a flash cart if you want to do that. There's different ways of doing that. If you go on AliExpress, you can find different ways of flashing Mega Drive cartridges. Here's all your documentation. Here's all your tutorials. So it's not as mature yet in documentation and stuff as GB Studio is, but because it is based in GB Studio, the software itself can do quite a lot of stuff. So I think this is a project that's worth highlighting. I think this is a really cool idea, and for anybody who wants to make their own Sega Genesis or Sega Mega Drive game, that's how I would go about it. And I wish I had some time to do that. I don't really have a good idea for a Mega Drive game. Otherwise, I would I'd give it a shot. But the sound chip on the Mega Drive is particularly wonderful. And so, think of the possibilities, man. A sense of 16-bit Cuphead adventure game coming on, that would be a good shout. I looked at the Sega Genesis development kit a while back and it was cool. I managed to get stuff running on an actual Mega Drive, but it was all C and assembly. It's ASM assembly. I sort of dipped my toe in before, but for the amount of time I had to spend on something, the learning was just too much for me. Whereas with that, the version of GB Studio, it looks to be easier than ever to make a Mega Drive game. So I thought some of you would be interested in that. It's maybe something we could maybe try on stream for a day or something. But listen, everybody, I'm going to go. 1, I need a piss, and 2, because B. Dolan's on. So I'm going to raid B. Dolan right now. My name's James Houston, and Houston's boosting. But before I go, please enjoy this magic trick. It's been a while since I've done that. I don't know if it was any good. I don't think it was any good. I'm sorry about that. I'll get better at it. Listen, everybody, all the very best. Might be on tonight. We'll see how it goes. I'll try and come on tonight. Catch you later. Bye. Love you. Bye. It's B. Dolan time. It's B. Dolan time, everybody. I'm still live for people who are watching me on their tellies. Hello, telly people.
What's happening? This is a wild